Talk to me about how your thoughts have changed when you first got into real estate to where it is now. And you can even talk about like maybe you loved a certain asset class in real estate, and then now you're like, I actually like, this better.
I've always liked the creativeness of real estate. I think that, I mean, there's so many ways to be involved in it. It's just like, it's a never ending sea of opportunity. I, I definitely, like I think I was telling you the other day, like I'm very intrigued and even a part of a couple different tech companies in real estate. I the prop tech and even some fintech stuff. I love, I find it fascinating. And I think that that's definitely a direction that I'm, moving with my career. But I think I never really liked being called a realtor, to be honest. Like I never, that sounds funny, but like I always was like, no, I'm more creative than that. Like don't, I felt like that put me in a box. I used to like it, but now I don't, and I don't mind it, but I'm just saying I don't like that term for myself because I feel like it puts me in this box. And I'm like, I feel like, the whole point of being in the business with that license is that you can be very creative with it. You don't have to just be able to help people buy and sell deals. Um, Other than that, I still think that is something that I've actually thought when I got started, and I still believe it to this day. That's selling real estate. Now, of course, there's all the other ways to do things, but I didn't start that. I didn't do those. I sold real estate to make money. And so I still believe that selling real estate is one of the best vehicles to obtain financial freedom in a very short amount of time. I mean, if you really
Mhm.
go for it, I don't I haven't seen a better opportunity that the anybody truly can has access to do. The barrier to entry is low, right? Couple grand, a test, and you can go sell a house for $3 million and make 90 G's. Like, tell me where else you're going to find
Mic drop on that one. I don't know.
that.
But it's so true.
There's all, and you could do the same thing with wholesaling. You could do the same thing. I mean, it's all there, but my experience was in the sales side. And yeah, I don't think there's a better vehicle for people who are like, hey, I want to get out of my financial situation. I want to have options. I want financial stability, and I need to do it. I need to do it in a shorter period of time than like 10 years. I need to do it like in 2 years or 3 years. I think it's a
Hmm.
phenomenal vehicle for that.
Totally agree. I mean, I was able to do it once I had the money saved up to get my first house, bought my second house, and I was able to do it literally within 10 months through two rentals.
Yeah.
Did co living. So obviously the cash flow is a little better, but still, it's 100% true. For you, man, I was just thinking about it. What's for you thinking about shiny object syndrome? Because I think for me and a lot of people who are just starting investing, they're like, oh my gosh, I love co living, but then also want to look into, commercial real estate and then multifamily. How important is it to actually stay with one, or should you, as all these people say, add tools to your tool belt and understand them all when you're just like looking at it as an investment?
When you're just looking at it as an investment, um,
So if you're an investor, do you think someone should just start and like hone in on one, or is it okay to bounce around and own multifamily and then also look at commercial?
you're going to get the best deals when you're an expert in an asset class. Sure, are there exceptions to that? Absolutely, but majority of the time, your deals that are landmark deals for you, like home runs, they're going to be
Hmm.
because you're an expert in that field, in that asset class. I don't. I think you should be well versed. I think you should be able to look at a multifamily pro forma and understand what NOI is and how the cap rate affects the sales price. Understand what the expense ratio is and the debt coverage ratio. I think you should know those things, but doesn't mean that you have to focus on it because prospecting is a whole process in itself, right? It's a whole job in itself. So I would say figure out what you are interested in, or I always say path of least resistance. So if I'm an agent and I've been selling homes, why would I go look at industrial? Now, I'm not saying don't get there, but I'm like, hello, like this is what you already know. Just buy that because the best investment is the one you don't lose money on, right? Like so I would focus on path of least resistance, bounce around, learn a little bit, but at some point just pick one. And as long as you go all in on it, you're not going to be wrong.
Love that. And you were very intentional when you came out to Arizona. You said, "Hey, I want to be in Arizona. A lot of movers and shakers out here. You know, real estate's really big out here." Talk to me about like community, and then also that inner circle, because I feel like a lot of people I talk to are so successful. They're like, "Hey, I really protect my time. I'm not hanging out with just anyone. I'm very intentional about who I'm friends with, and that's something that I've you know the last 3 years been really important to me. I don't have time just to quote unquote kick it. Like unless I'm meeting with someone and I'm doing business, or this is someone that I'm actually learning from and growing, and that's something that's been really important for me. Talk to me about that experience for you, especially starting in real estate so young. And it seems like you were hyper focused. Like I got to surround myself with the right people.
For sure. It's so funny you said that. I was actually talking to my girlfriend right before, like an hour before this. And I was at the gym today and I was really thinking about like we do an annual like goal, like we set our goals and we review them on a quarterly basis. So we have one coming up. And I was telling her, I said, I kind of had an epiphany while I was at the gym, and I said, I want to install two rules about our social life. Because as you know, when you're in business, it all mixes together. And I said, number one, no more people who are full of shit. If we know someone's full of shit, give them a chance. But when we both are on the same page that we think someone's full of shit, just done. Like, and that means they
Mm,
say things and don't keep their word, and they're just, just you know the person I'm talking about, right? Like you can
100%.
everyone's hearing that and going, yeah, I know somebody just like that. I said, no more, no more. And then the other one is if we don't admire what they're building or who they are as people, and we don't want, it's not necessarily want what they have, but like we admire that the things that they've done and accomplished, and want to be around those types of people. If they're not that, then no. And not saying you
Mm,
have to cut, you have to be some rigid, you can't, have to delete people's numbers and unfollow them on Instagram. It's just saying that, we don't put time and effort into that area. We put time and effort here. Um,
mm-hmm.
and the reason why I told her that is because over the last couple of years, there have just been some adverse situations we all get, at some point that you run into them. Nothing bad, but we just look around and go, look, that situation came from someone who was full of shit. We got involved in it, and now look what we were involved. Or people who don't have something that we admire, or have built something, or we admire them as people, right? We wouldn't trade places with them. We don't want what they have. We got caught up in a situation where it was one of those people. We're like, okay, we know the root problem are those two things, and so let's eliminate them. And I think having that's my quote unquote audit system, but having some type of audit system yourself and recalibrating it every
Mm.
once in a while, I would say is a healthy exercise when you want to really elevate the relationships that you do have, and the caliber of people.